Hello, and welcome to Strangest Species. My name is Ethne. I'm the co-host, and I'm here with your host, Mike Davis.
I don't think I'm the host.
Oh.
I think we're both hosts.
Oh, I don't know how to, but we're both co-hosts.
That's
then.
true.
Or we're both hosts. He asked me if I wanted to do the intro, and I was like a little nervous, so I'm sorry if that was terrible.
No, it wasn't terrible. It was good. Just, have some confidence.
It was like very rigid.
You're the superstar.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah, welcome, everybody. I hope everyone had a great New Year's. We did. It was fun.
Yeah, it was a bunch of surprises.
Yeah, tell us about them.
Well, so I'm from Calgary, for those of you that haven't listened before, which is a big city in Canada, Alberta. And my sister had just mentioned that she was going down to Calgary from Edmonton for New Year's. And I just thought that was...
And you have another sister in Calgary already.
Yeah.
And your parents.
And my sister, yes, to visit my parents and my other sister. And, she was chatting about just some of the things they were going to do. Maybe this big indoor bounce place for all the kids. We have lots of little kids in our family, cousins and stuff. And one of my sisters, they're both younger, but the older one of the youngers, her little boy had asked for my son for Christmas. Like, I want to just see my cousin for Christmas. And then my other youngest sister, her daughter had asked for my daughter for Christmas. And so, they were kind of wanting cousin time. And I know that, they all have their own little like ones that they were asking for. And so I don't know, I got this crazy idea after talking to my sister, like, what if we went up there and just surprised everybody? And I asked my third child, and the road trip is far, and it was kind of a short time. And I thought for sure he would say no, like flat out no. But he was kind of like, well, can we still do fondue for New Year's? He was kind of very into his fondue. I was like, well, it might be tricky. I was like, I could probably just bring something simple. He's like, I guess if we could do our chocolate fondue, then sure, that would be so fun to see everybody. And then I asked my daughter, who, is old enough to go to this New Year's dance, and I thought for sure she'd say no way. And when I presented the idea, she was like, I mean, that would be so fun, like the surprise factor. Anyway, and so I knew my other son would be fine with it, and then the little one was like, yes, please, please, please. So I said, well, if you guys can all get on board and help me pack and be the best that you can be in the car, then we'll do this. And so we did it. And Mike had to stay and work. And so we drove up. The roads are exceptionally good right now. Very little snow. I mean, it's unbelievable. So that was one major factor for being willing to kind of do this. And then the surprise factor, these kids were so excited to just talk about how we were going to surprise them and what we were going to do when we got there. And because no one knew we were coming. So it was really fun. And then the next day, we were at this big indoor play place for all the kids, and Mike just shows up. He just walks in and shows up, and none of us knew he was coming. So I guess he decided to fly on up and meet us there. So that was fun. We got to be together on New Year's and play games and just be around all the crazy and do the side-by-side outside and fireworks.
So warm.
So warm. Like bizarrely, I don't think I've ever remembered this warm with this little of snow at Christmas time.
We're talking right around 0 degrees Celsius, 32.
Yeah.
But that's very warm for Calgary.
I mean, kids were outside in t-shirts and no jackets, and just, it was so warm.
Yeah. And the sun, you could like feel the warmth of the sun.
Yeah, you could.
It was good.
Yep.
There was a fun fireworks show we went to on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, it was great.
We had a good time. Very quick.
Got to eat
Just got home a few hours ago.
Tim Hortons.
Did do some Timmy's.
Got to do Slurpee. I mean, it's like a big thing for my kids.
We have Slurpees here in the States. Supposedly they're better in Canada. I'm not a big fan of either one. It doesn't really matter to me. But they really like going to get Slurpees when they're in Canada.
And then we got a few 5-cent candies and kind of Canadian treats and stuff. Ketchup chips and all the things. So,
You guys do have, at least compared to the West I mean, maybe if you lived in like LA or San Francisco or Seattle, but so much better, diverse and ethnic foods.
That's true.
We ate some good food up there while we were there.
Oh yeah, we had some really yummy donair.
Really good Chinese food.
Such
There's no good Chinese food in Spokane.
Not
if
that
there
we
is,
found.
someone please tell me where.
Yeah, we need to know. It was fun. It was really,
really
really
good.
fun. Wild, a little bit busy, but
Very busy,
fun.
very loud.
I mean, there were so many little
4
kids.
hours total tickling 3-year-olds.
Chasing them and hiding from them. And
Yeah. It was super fun.
yeah.
So, yeah, that was good. That's what we've been up to. Like, we just got back a couple hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think I slept on a hide of bed because no one knew we were coming.
It was not comfy.
Not comfy. But it worked.
I mean, for some
Well,
reason,
it was perfectly fine. It's just a hide of bed. Like, there's
Right.
not a good hide of bed out there.
it was probably one of the better hide-a-beds.
It's hard to fold up a, luxury foam mattress. So generally they're pretty thin and crappy.
Right. This one was probably one of the most comfy.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. It just
Right.
wasn't our bed.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I was actually expecting to sleep on the floor in my niece's room. So there you go.
Yeah. Our dog slept with us, so she thought that was cool because normally she doesn't get to.
No, she sleeps downstairs.
I mean, she didn't sleep like with us, but she slept at the foot of the bed.
Right. She does like that. She likes her people.
It's true. So, yeah, that's what's going on here. I was going to tell one funny little story about the other day. So we have a bunch of chickens. The chickens are messy. They bring mice. We've talked about this before. Because there's mice, we decided to get some cats to get rid of the mice. And it's just this never-ending cycle of animals.
That's really it. I mean, and the dog. That's all.
But I went out the other night. So we have as you've heard, if you listen to the podcast, raccoons that kill the chickens. So we installed a solar paneled
Door.
door on the chicken coop. So when the sun goes down, the door goes down.
Speaking of which, have we checked them today?
No, I'll have to go check them
Okay.
after this.
All right.
And you normally have to go out there because the sun sets so early in the winter that there's always like 3 or 4 that don't make it into the coop before the door shuts on them.
Well, they never really know when it's going to happen because
Yeah.
the sun is so finicky. So anyway.
That's true. If it's like way cloudy or
Yeah.
sunny. So you always have to go out there at night, manually open the door, let them in, and then close it again. So I went out to do this like 3 or 4 nights ago. And they have a run outside that's attached to the coop that is completely covered and fenced in. And one of the cats was on the roof of the run, and it was pitch black out there, but I could tell she was running around like crazy. I was like, I bet you she has a mouse up there. So I flipped on my flashlight and I shine it, and I'm tall enough that I can see over the roof. Like I have to duck down when I go into the run. And I look over, and Raven, our black cat, is charging straight at me, smacking this mouse back and forth between her paws like a hockey player. And she loves to play with them. Like as she's killing them. Like it's a long, drawn out process.
I think that's how most cats do it, but I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it could be. But she's smacking it and running and coming right at me, and I have my flashlight on, and she hits that mouse. It comes flying off the roof, hits me, bounces onto the ground. It's still alive. It takes off running. So Raven jumps down, goes chasing after it, can't find it. And I thought it was pretty funny.
That is pretty funny that it just hit you. Like,
Yeah.
I probably would have screamed and
Yeah, they're so little.
freaked out. I know, but still.
They're really cute.
Oh, I
There's
know.
a pain in the butt.
From afar. From afar. Further away than the chicken coop. Like in the neighbor's yard.
That's true.
Not
That would
in
be a better place for
Not
them.
by the chicken coop. So
So yeah. All right. Well, I think what are we going to talk about today?
that's a great question.
What do you want to talk about?
Well, actually, while we were up in Calgary, my sister does lashes and she does a really good job. She's just so good. So I got my lashes done. And while we were she likes our podcast a lot. And so while I was doing my lashes, she listened to the Neom one. And so I don't often listen to ourselves. And except for if my kids are listening to us and I kind of hear bits and pieces, but just straight listening. And so I was thinking, I wonder what the next one will be, because the Neom one was so intriguing and bizarre, but not our normal kind of, because we went into the future. So then I was just thinking, I wonder what it will be. So,
Well, I'll tell you right now.
Okay, tell me.
We are going to talk about Sabina and Ursula Eriksson. Twin sisters born in Sweden in 1967.
Sabina and what?
Ursula.
Oh,
like
Ursula.
the sea witch.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Sabina like Sabrina without the R.
Mm-hmm. Sabina. Okay.
So, our story goes back to 2008.
I thought you said they were born in like night.
They were born in 1967. But the events that we're going to talk about took
are
place
in 2008. Oh, that's not too long ago.
No, so they were adults.
Right. Okay.
70, 80, 90. What does that make them? I don't know what that makes them.
40-ish?
Late 40s?
Late 40s, 50-ish?
So Ursula was living in the U.S., and Sabina was married living in Ireland.
Okay.
Now, Ursula traveled to Ireland to spend some time with Sabina. I don't know why, if they're just getting together to go shopping together or whatever.
Just sister time, man.
Sister time.
Yeah.
Well, maybe sister time, maybe not.
Okay.
As the story goes, we'll find some interesting things.
Oh.
But yeah, you just went to hang out with your sisters.
I love sister time.
So they like sister. Well, let's see if you and your sisters have ever done what Ursula and Sabina were up to.
Okay, let's find out.
Okay, so this is when our story begins. So they're at Sabina's house in Ireland, and the two sisters leave the house without telling anybody,
Okay.
and they travel to Liverpool in the United Kingdom.
London. Liverpool, England.
Yeah. So they leave Ireland, go to England. They don't tell anybody.
Okay.
Now, once they get to Liverpool, they go to a police station and they make a report about the safety of Sabina's children back in Ireland with her husband.
Okay.
And the police say, yeah, we'll check in with Dublin and we'll coordinate a check-in or whatever.
Okay. That's so weird that they can just do that inter-country. I know they're all so close together and they travel amongst each other, so it makes maybe more sense. But it's so weird. You can go to a different country and be like, yeah, we'll check in with the other country's police.
Yeah, it's fascinating too. Like, why would you go to another country and then turn around and make a police report?
I mean, if you're going to
home?
flee for your safety and then you're worried about your children's safety, you should have taken your children with you when you went. I mean,
Right.
That's my first thought when you're saying this, but.
Or why not stop at like a police station in Dublin?
Oh, I mean,
Like, why do you have to go all the way to England and then make a report?
maybe for being too close. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Okay.
So the police do find out at a later time that Sabina had an argument with her husband prior to leaving. Mm-hmm. So it's been some kind of argument. They leave. They make this police report. And then they head to a bus station and they hop on a bus to go to London.
London. Okay.
So Ireland
Liverpool, London.
to Liverpool. Now they're getting on a bus to go to London. So about 50 kilometers into the trip, the bus makes a scheduled stop at a rest stop, and the sisters get off the bus, but they're acting really, really strange. They are gripping their bags super tightly. They're just looking paranoid. Like they're looking like something's not right. And the bus driver definitely notices. Other people notice. And the bus driver is so put off by them that he will not let them back on the bus. And that's all the information I really have on it. I don't know what exactly they were doing other than is that they were gripping their bags really, really tightly and they wouldn't let anyone look at them. And so, which seems benign enough, but something must be going on because the bus driver is like, you're not getting back on this bus. So he leaves them
That's so funny.
at this service station on the side of the highway.
Okay.
Now, I don't know what the service station was like in my brain. So we used to live in Ohio, and out there, all the main freeways were toll roads. So once you had to pay to go on them. And once you got on, you couldn't get off without paying, right?
Yep.
Edney's very confused by her headphone cord.
No, I'm listening to all the things. It's just tangled up.
And so they had these mega service stations on the toll road that you could stop, and they had restaurants and all the things. So we wouldn't have to get off the toll road. I don't know if it was something like that or if it's just like a normal rest stop.
But it'd
that
be
has some
weird.
bathrooms and stuff. Or
It'd
if it's
be
like a Canadian rest stop where it's like out in the woods, here's a place to pull over.
I think either the US's or Canada's rest stops would be a weird place to leave people. The only ones that would be sort of normal would be the ones like in Ohio, where it's like there's like a restaurant there. Like, can the bus driver get in trouble for just like leaving these people? I mean, with no real
They'd have like a knife.
like true threat, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. So he leaves them. Stop. It's hilarious.
And so the manager of the service station, so there's someone there.
So obviously that's like a true gas station or other people. So that doesn't sound that bad.
So he calls the police, or she, or whoever they are. The police come, they speak to the two sisters, and they agree, like, they're weird, but they report, I mean, they're harmless, they're not breaking any laws.
Right.
We're not going to arrest them or anything.
Right.
So the police go on their merry way. But now these two sisters Ursula and Sabina
just
they're stuck at a service station. Again, I get the impression that it's like no matter where you are, you're on a highway, there's nothing else out there. You've got
at this point you start hitchhiking.
Well, they don't hitchhike. They just start walking down the highway.
It's totally not weird.
But they walk down, so it's like there's 3 or 4 lanes going one direction, 3 or 4 the other, and then there's like a grassy
in the middle.
But it's narrow. It's maybe only like an arm's width wide. It's not like a huge expanse of land. And so the interesting thing is, from here on, everything that happens is on camera. So they get noticed by like the metro police or like the highway police on CCTV cameras. It's like, oh, there's 2 ladies walking down the highway and they can't be on the highway. And so you can obviously watch the CCTV film and see them walking down the highway in the middle in this median area. So they're walking high speed traffic, both directions. And this is when crazy starts happening. Okay. You ready for this?
I'm ready. I'm so ready.
What do you think happens? Where's our story going, Ethne?
I mean, maybe one darts into traffic?
That'd be stupid.
Well, obviously, but they're already stupid. Why are you walking down the middle of the freeway? I mean, when you're at the service station, make a couple phone calls, maybe call a cab, or I don't know, get on another bus. Okay, so anyway.
Yeah. So not a sister, both sisters hop the median and walk right out into traffic. And what do you think
in
happens?
The same direction?
Yep.
Well, they get hit.
One of them, Sabina, almost instantly gets hit by a car.
Well, yeah. I mean, these people are not expecting humans walking on the road, and it is so fast.
Yeah.
They're going fast.
So luckily, the car sees her and slows down enough, but still hits her.
Well, yeah.
Like I said, all this is captured on CCTV. You can go watch all this on YouTube. So the highway police are called to the scene.
Where is Ursula?
She's right there.
So she didn't get hit.
She didn't get hit. Sabina gets hit. Ursula's right there. Traffic obviously stops because that's, I'm sure they're all in shock and crazy what's going on. Police get sent. Now, it just so happens that the highway police that have a film crew with them that day, filming a show, essentially like Cops, but all about the highway police. So again, now everything else that happens is super on film because they have film crews with them. So the police get there. And like I said, go YouTube it. You can watch all this. They're talking to both sisters on the side. And she's fine.
She got hit, but she's fine.
Sabina got hit, but she's fine.
Okay.
So they're both sitting there talking with cops, or standing there on the side of the road, talking to the police officers. And what do you think happens, Ethne?
I feel like they've got to be on drugs, like drugged with some sort of weird medicine or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. What is going on in their brains? They're talking to cops. Ursula takes off, runs back into traffic.
This is the weirdest thing ever.
Yes. And what happens when you run into traffic?
You get hit.
She gets hit by a semi, traveling 50 miles an hour.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
Instantly crushes both of her legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised she's not just dead.
Yeah, so she must have missed the front of the car or truck and like threw herself under the wheels would be my guess.
This is so
Maybe she
weird.
slid like baseball. But she's alive.
Did they Okay, they must have done something really bad. Or something. This is so weird. Okay.
So weird. So both legs, like, badly crushed.
Okay.
Which makes sense. Semi-trucks are big. They have lots of wheels.
Oh, I just don't even know. This is terrible.
Yeah. So obviously all the police shift their focus to Ursula, who is maimed on the road.
Okay.
Sabina takes off and runs into traffic.
And Sabina was already hit once.
She's already been hit once.
She was okay enough to do this again.
Yep. This time she runs into traffic and is hit head on by a Volvo and is knocked unconscious. Like, smack. Whoop, out on the road. Out.
This is so crazy.
So you've got Ursula
and
crushed
Sabina.
legs.
Yeah. No, Sabina with crushed legs.
Sorry, Sabina. No, Ursula with crushed legs.
Oh, Ursula. Sabina knocked out. Okay.
And you can see on the video where she hits the windshield of this Volvo. I mean, it's all concaved and
okay.
It's a smack.
All right.
So the police are like, "Whoa, what is going on here?"
Yeah, so
These chicks
weird.
are crazy.
It was so weird.
So it is so weird. Paramedics rush out to both of them, and Ursula, even with both legs crushed, is fighting treatment. She's biting. She's spitting at the medics. She's punching at him.
They're
she's
totally
swearing
like
at him.
possessed.
There's something. I don't know. At one point, she yells at one of them, "I know you. You're not real."
Okay.
Yeah.
They're totally possessed.
Did you ever see that thing that happened a few months ago with that lady on the flight from Dallas to Orlando?
I don't know if I saw it, but I heard about it, but I can't remember.
That's what it makes me think of. So she was on a flight. They were getting ready to taxi. And she is in tears, angry, like scared. She storms off the plane. And she's standing up kind of like by the first class. There's someone filming her. But she's pointing back in the back and she's yelling, you know, "You guys can all stay on this plane and choose to die if you want, but that thing back there, that thing's not real, and I'm getting off this plane." And but the plane had already
Taxied, right?
I don't know if the taxi, just the doors had closed or whatever. So she got off, delayed the flight by like 4 hours. They had to deboard everybody and blah blah blah. And I bet you half of them were going to Disney World. So you probably have a bunch of like terrified kids on there. But I don't think she got arrested. I've seen a few follow-up things. She did like a big apology thing. But anyways, it just made me think of the same thing when she was yelling about it not being real.
Okay.
I don't know. So Ursula's not taking any of this treatment stuff. But while this is going on, Sabina wakes up and starts yelling at the medics about how they, whoever they are going to steal your organs.
Okay. These guys are cuckoo bananas.
Cuckoo bananas. And again, you can go watch all this. It's quite crazy.
I can't even imagine being like an emergency medical professional at this situation. Like all of the different people would be so perplexed, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm sure they're all crazy. Like,
well, they
more
have to be
crazy.
possessed or under some sort of drug or something. This is just not normal.
Well, and that's what
mental.
I mean, obviously they're thinking they've got to be on some kind of drugs because
totally
they're not feeling pain. It seems like
right.
They're not in reality.
Yeah.
So
I sure hope you tell me their toxicology reports.
So after Sabina wakes up, after being knocked out, she stands up.
I can't even believe this.
She's been hit twice by cars on the freeway.
I know.
She stands up, punches a police officer.
No.
Hops the median.
No.
Into traffic the other direction.
No.
And gets away.
What?
Some bad cops, man.
No, these are some crazy people.
So, yeah.
And
you can watch all
where
this.
is she going when she gets away? I mean, just
Not too
running?
far. Yeah. Like there's woods around and stuff.
It's so nuts. Okay.
And so the police catch up to her down the road and they have to sedate her to get her into custody.
Obviously. I mean, at this point, they need
Luckily,
to be tased.
Ursula doesn't have to be tased because she has no working appendages from the waist down. So she's not going anywhere.
Okay.
But Sabina, they sedate her and they take them both to the hospital.
They do like an exorcism. Is that a thing at the hospital?
They should have.
I mean, really.
So obviously Ursula's going to be there for a little while.
I mean, yes.
But Sabina miraculously has no real injuries after being hit twice by cars on the freeway. And she is released into police custody. Now, it's very, again, go watch the videos. I mean, she walks out of the hospital.
So Ursula is the one that lived in the States, right?
Correct.
Let
me go back.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm pretty sure. Okay. So I'm just trying to follow. Does she have a family? Do we know?
I don't know.
We don't know.
anything
Okay.
about her.
Okay. This is just too bizarre.
She's just like, I'm going over to Ireland to pick up my sister, go to England to run into traffic.
Yeah, something's okay. Are you going to tell me more? Like, am I going to have closure?
I don't know if we have closure, but there's a whole lot more to the story. Yeah.
Okay. This is just so
So
bizarre.
Ursula's in the hospital.
Yeah.
Sabina is now with the police officers. Again, all videoed. And she's super relaxed. She's joking with them.
Sabina.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, you would never think like she just ran into traffic. You would never think that she cares at all about her sister. She's just chatting it up, laughing.
Okay.
Just normal old lady.
Okay.
And so, she spends the weekend in jail.
In the hospital. She has no legs.
No, Sabina.
Oh, Sabina. Sorry.
So just forget about Ursula for a while. She's
Okay.
for the rest of the story. She is in the hospital.
Okay. Perfect. Okay.
So now Sabina, she spends the weekend in jail. She gets charged and sentenced with trespassing on a motorway and assaulting a police officer, and is sentenced to 1 day in custody. But because she's already spent the weekend in jail, they deem that she's already spent her time, and so she's released.
Okay.
She never received a psychiatric evaluation while in custody.
Why not? I mean, how could you not psychiatric
So
evaluate this person?
we'll talk about that later. Okay.
Okay.
Remind me to talk about that.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah. Because I watched a video with a guy from England where he kind of goes into some of the things. He's like, a lot of the British laws make it really challenging to
do psychiatric
do,
evaluation.
Well, not even psychiatric, but to hold people. And the laws
Okay.
make it tough on the cops.
Okay.
So Sabina's out.
Okay. She's out.
She's out.
Good for her.
She has nowhere to go.
Well, I mean, back to her sister's house, maybe?
Well, it's her house. She could go back to Ireland.
Oh, back to Ireland. Yeah.
But she just starts roaming the streets. She's clutching all of her possessions in... Whoa, bless you. Oh, bless you. You guys are in for a treat here.
I'm gonna be done.
Whoa, that's the shortest I've ever heard Anthony sneeze in our 17.
I'm trying so hard
relationship.
not to sneeze at all, and it was not working.
Normally it's like 7. Like I get frustrated. I'm like, are you done yet? Holy cow!
So does my whole family and my siblings. It's fine, you guys. It's okay.
But she never says "bless you" to me because she never expects me to be done after 1.
I always wait, and then
And so I always say, "Oh, bless you, Mike," and then she's like, "Oh yeah, sorry."
it's because you have to do at least 3, or it's just not real.
I just do 1.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Anyway,
Takes
sorry
care of
about that.
business. So, where were we? Oh, so she's out.
Yeah.
She's
Mhm.
roaming the streets. She's carrying her few possessions in a little clear bag from the jail.
Cool. She's got a clear bag. I just had to order one of those to go to concert, so
Yeah.
she already got one for
She got one for
free.
free.
Yeah.
She has spent a weekend in jail.
Nah.
You should
It's
punch a
easy.
police officer. Get yourself a free bag.
More than anything, I feel like I should just like run into traffic. You know.
Yeah. But if you're Ursula, she didn't get a free bag.
That's true.
I think she got
That's
really mangled.
Okay.
So,
All right. Let's keep going.
you're running a risk there.
Okay.
So, and she's just roaming around looking for her sister. Like, which hospital is my sister in?
She knows though. Like she seems
She's
Coherent.
enough.
to know that her sister's in the hospital, that her sister got run over,
Right.
like all of this. Okay. She's not like delirious. This is so weird.
I mean,
Okay.
she's obviously delusional to a point we're going to see more than
Okay.
she was then.
Okay.
But isn't she kind of with it with the officers? So she's roaming around. So about 7 o'clock that night, 2 guys are walking their dogs. 2 buddies walking down the street. And they see her, and she looks like a wounded puppy, right? I mean, she looks lost. She looks out of place. So they begin talking to her. These 2 guys are Glenn Hollingshead and Peter Malloy.
Okay.
I think both men are like in their mid-50s.
Okay.
So the men said she seemed nervous, was very friendly, And she bent down, petted the dogs, all that kind of stuff. So after talking a bit, she asked them if they knew of any Airbnbs or hotels nearby because she was looking for her hospitalized sister. And so, telling that Sabina was in a bit of distress, Glenn offered to let her stay with him at his house.
Oh.
And to help her find her sister.
Little does he know she's crazy.
Yeah. So it's really nice of him. I am very... I love helping people. I'm a very nice person. I don't think I'd be that nice.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you want to be nice, but you just don't know, right?
I mean, there's times where we just live in a weird world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it's late at night and someone's car is broken down, like, if I'm by myself, maybe I'll stop. But like one night I had our daughter with us and I was like, I'm not stopping. Like, I'm just not.
I know.
I'll call 911 or something, crime check and say, hey, there's someone broken down over here. If you want to send an officer.
Right. I know. I just remember there's times where I've had wonderful good Samaritans that have helped me. And so it's just sad that the world has gone there. But anyway.
I guess it's which neighborhood I'm into.
Well, sure. So
I was over in Hilliard, so.
Well, okay.
Wasn't going to stop.
Sounds good.
But, so the three of them go back to Glenn's house and they're just, chatting, whatever. But Peter later said that Sabina was super paranoid. For instance, she was constantly looking out the window. So they thought like maybe she's running away from like an abusive partner or something. She would give them cigarettes, but then instantly like yank them out of their mouths saying that they might be poison.
Okay.
So if you are a good Samaritan and you let a random stranger in your house, if they start acting really paranoid, like maybe you should find a reason to let them out of your house.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
It's just some advice.
Yeah.
Some friendly advice.
Mm-hmm.
So around midnight, Peter heads home, and Glenn spends the next day making calls trying to help Sabina find her sister. Calling different hospitals, calling different people who might have connections.
What a nice guy.
Yeah, a really nice guy. So that evening, Glenn was making dinner for he and Sabina, and he realizes he needs an ingredient, so he goes to the neighbor's house. Knocks on the door. Hey, do you have whatever? He gets it. He goes back inside. Less than a minute later, he comes stumbling out the door, dripping with blood. The neighbor sees him, and he says, she stabbed me. And he falls, and he dies.
Whoa.
You didn't see that come, did you?
No. I mean, she just kills him?
Yep.
Okay.
Stabs him.
So now I feel like they're super crazy, and the husband that got left in Ireland probably killed him, and I don't even want to know. Maybe the kids too. Oh, this is going to get ugly. I just know it.
So I will.
Because if you're paranoid, you did something wrong, for sure.
So I will ease your hearts. I know nothing about the husband and children being.
Oh, good.
Anything bad happening to them.
Okay, I can breathe a little.
Yeah.
Okay. I just feel like they're crazy. They did something.
They did something. They're on something. There's
Yes.
something.
Yes, this is so weird.
So anyways, the neighbor sees it. He calls the police. Obviously.
He never sees the girl, though? He never sees Sabina?
He does. He actually sees her run away with a hammer while he's on the phone with the cops.
She runs away with a hammer, but she stabbed him with a knife?
Correct.
Ooh, she's got all the weapons.
Yes. So she's running, which is again caught on CCTV camera. So she's running with blood on her. Every so often, I actually don't think it's a hammer. I think it was a rubber mallet.
Okay.
Makes a difference here in a second. Every so often she stops and she hits herself in the head with the rubber mallet. And that's why I don't think it was a hammer. I think it was a mallet.
She's having like a psychotic break.
She's having a something.
Like, yeah.
So a man driving his car sees her smacking herself with a hammer, jumps out to try to tackle her to get her to stop. Which again, there's some really good people over in London apparently.
Yeah.
Because again, we live in Spokane. There are people tweaking out all over the place.
Well,
if someone's hitting themselves with the hammer, I'm not getting out, tackling them, and trying to stop them.
Right. I might call out my window like, hey,
You shouldn't do that.
Well, just kind of
Hammers are hard.
distract them from the moment. I don't even know. I just don't know. Okay.
I don't think you would.
I would.
Like throw a granola bar at them.
Well, I have food in my car for them. Yeah, I probably would. I'd be like, hey, and then throw them the granola bar. Probably just to get them out of whatever funk they're in.
I would totally ignore them, but
I would try something. Okay.
Well, so this guy jumps out, tackles her. Guess what she does?
She beats him with the mallet?
No. She pulls out a broken roofing tile.
A broken
roof tile that she had in her back pocket, I guess. And she smacks him on the head. Enough to stumble, like to daze him so she can get away.
Okay.
This is why you don't jump out of your car and try to help crazy people hit themselves with hammers.
It's getting weird.
Just let them hit themselves.
It's just getting weird.
So the police, paramedics, they chase her. She's running. They're following her. She gets to a pedestrian bridge over another motorway.
Oh, no.
40 feet tall. She jumps.
She just jumps right off.
Jumps right off into traffic. This girl loves traffic.
Okay, this is the craziest thing. I just can't.
Now, I've never jumped off anything 40 feet. That's not true. I've jumped off some cliffs 40 feet into water. Mm-hmm. Never jumped off of a pedestrian bridge over a freeway.
No,
at 40 feet.
Only water. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she jumps. Now, she's already lived through being hit by cars twice on the freeway.
Please tell me it's over at this point.
Nope, she lives. Breaks both ankles, fractures her skull, but survives.
This is so...
But, you know what the best part of the story is?
I don't even know.
She's reunited with her sister in the hospital.
The same hospital?
I don't know if it's the same one or not. But by September that year, they're both in the hospital. One with 2 broken ankles and a broken head. The other with 2 completely smashed, crushed legs. It's pretty exciting.
Kind of.
And one of them's killed somebody.
Yeah. It's kind of just okay.
Yeah. So
I'm still trying to like
Ursula, the one with the crushed legs, heals up enough. She's released from the hospital in a wheelchair. Now we're talking months down the road here from the initial. And she goes back to the States, and that's the last we ever hear of her. She never gets charged with trespassing on a motorway.
Why not?
I don't know. Probably didn't want to deal with her. They sent her back to the States. So she goes back home.
Does anyone follow her in the States and think, like, these people are dangerous?
Not that I know of. She could live next door, for all I know.
Okay.
So Sabina goes to trial for murder.
Well, I hope so.
And she pleads guilty to manslaughter with decreased culpability. But it's interesting because at no time does she ever explain any of their actions. Every police interview she ever has, all she does is say no comment to every single thing they ask her. But she does take the plea agreement on manslaughter with decreased culpability. So,
what is decreased? Like mental instability kind of?
Essentially saying manslaughter, but yeah, it wasn't your fault as much. I don't know how the legal system works in the United Kingdom. I don't really know how it works here in the States. But obviously, yes, manslaughter is a much less severe charge and with decreased culpability. So her defense was very fascinating. In her defense, let's play a game. You're her defense attorney. Mm-hmm. What are you going to use as her defense?
Oh, mental health. Like, or... drugs.
Yeah, I don't know. You would think when she went to the hospital, both times they would have done a toxicology report.
I would assume so.
And it never comes out... and they didn't use toxicology as either in her trial, saying, that was the issue. They also, surprisingly, they do kind of go down the mental health avenue. Mm-hmm. They never once, the prosecutors nor the defense, used any of the footage from them running into traffic in the court. It never comes to trial. I don't know.
Okay.
So what the defense argues is that she is a secondary sufferer of a super rare disorder called folie à deux. À deux. It's French. You can tell me how to pronounce it.
I don't know if I could.
So what that is a shared psychosis or shared delusional disorder. Oh, sorry, that's other names for it. It is a rare psychiatric syndrome in which symptoms of a delusional belief and sometimes hallucinations are transmitted from one individual to another. Usually very, very close-tied people. In this
like
case,
a twin
sisters. So their claim was that the primary psychosis was coming from Ursula, and that Sabina contracted it from her twin sister because of their close bond.
But I mean, where is the original psychosis coming from?
I don't know.
Okay. So the transferring of the
Now this
psychosis,
is like a
sure.
super vague, like thin ice argument to begin with.
Yeah.
Like this isn't even like a, I want to say I read somewhere there's like 20 documented cases ever. So I mean, it's kind of like a made up thing.
Yeah.
And in every one of the cases, once you separate them, then that's the treatment.
Right.
Essentially separate them and put them on antipsychotic medications or whatever.
Right.
And so by arresting them, they essentially were separated, but it didn't stop the delusion because she was delusional long enough into 2 days later, 4 days later, whatever, to stab a man to death.
Yeah.
So, but the judge accepted the plea. And I'll read you what he said about it.
Okay.
And it's really fascinating.
Is it?
It's fascinating for sure. I don't know if I agree with it or not, but it's fascinating.
Yeah.
So, well, I'll tell you the sentence first. So he sentenced her to 5 years in prison.
Okay.
And this is what he says. I understand that this sentence will seem entirely inadequate to the relatives of the deceased. However, I have sentenced on the basis that the reason for the killing was the mental illness, and therefore the culpability of the defendant is low, and therefore the sentence I have passed is designed to protect the public. It is not designed to reflect the grief the relatives have suffered, or to measure the value of Mr. Hollenhead's life. No sentence that I could pass could do that. It is a sentence which I hope fairly measures a truly tragic event. Sabina was suffering from delusions, which she believed to be true, and they dictated her behavior. It is not one of those cases where the defendant could have done something to avoid the onset. End quote. What thinkest thou?
I mean, I don't like it.
You don't like it? I knew you wouldn't like it.
I know that because you know me.
Yeah.
I just don't like it. I mean,
so if it's truly someone who is in some kind of psychosis, I 100% would agree with the sentencing. You know, if you're someone who is really not mentally in the right, you know, like I like that the point of this is to protect the public. You know, not to.
But 5 years in prison isn't necessarily going to solve the problem. It'll protect the public for those 5 years potentially. But then what happens when they get out if their psychosis or mentally unstable just turns into another episode like this? I mean,
for sure.
I feel
and that's
like
the tricky thing is you don't know.
The tip of the iceberg.
To our knowledge, there's no psychiatric evaluation. Now, you would think the second
How
time
could
that
you
there was
not have a psychiatric evaluation on both of these humans?
Well, I'm sure the second time she was arrested and charged after the murder, there was a psychiatric evaluation. And that's probably where they came up with this.
Even the first time, you are running into traffic. That deserves a psychiatric evaluation.
Yeah. So this thing that I was listening to.
I mean, I'm no
guy,
doctor, but for real.
And this, so I guess in England, they cannot hold anybody for more than 6 hours.
No matter what?
Well, without,
like, she killed that man.
No, I mean the first time.
Okay. Right, but let's say she killed this man. That was her first time. They couldn't hold her for longer than 6 hours? Okay.
No, I'm saying the first time, like, without I guess, pushing forward with an arrest, like actually charging with something and doing something.
Okay.
And so they only have the 6-hour window to get a psychiatric evaluation in.
Whoa.
If they're going to try to.
That sounds like
use
almost
that.
impossible.
And I guess it's just super understaffed with psychiatric.
Well, of course.
Which
But
makes
couldn't
sense.
you, in those 6 hours, say, this is what's happened, they need one, and then hold them
I guess not.
Huh.
And if you're from the United Kingdom, you probably know a lot better than us, and you can let us know. But this thing I was watching,
Okay.
he was going through it all, and it made sense when I was listening to him.
Okay.
You know, and it's like, they probably are super understaffed in those departments because you deal with mental health, like probably more than criminals.
And this is the whole so hard thing for mental health, right? I mean, it's almost like if people take this situation and they use it as their scapegoat, like for potentially something else, but like you actually get off on that, it almost is a disservice to, like, seems like an excuse, like a disservice to those that are truly suffering.
Sure.
Right? And that's what's
that
so
was like
hard.
The whole like Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial.
Right.
You know, she was claiming these things, and then these psychiatrists were coming in and saying like, no, like you're crazy. And you're doing a disservice to all these abused women because you're just making crap up.
Right. Like, I mean, I guess it's very complex, you know, very complex. Mental health.
And there's no,
there's no
easy,
right. No, there's not.
Solves all the problems.
Right.
You know?
That's what's hard. I don't want to sound like I'm
heartless.
Yeah. I mean, like, but anyone that's going to run into traffic
over and over.
That's what makes me think like
that your organs are trying to be stolen.
Well, but more than anything, like the paranoia and stuff, like something is wrong. Something is wrong. Whether you're guilty of something terrible and it's making you almost like your psychosis worse because of whatever you might have done, that's very real. You know, like it's a self, when you iatrogenic, like it's your own fault. What is, like, you're causing your own mental illness by the choices that you made, right? Mm-hmm. But then it's truly just how it is to no fault of your own, to no, terrible choice or terrible mistake that you'd made of your own. It would have almost made more sense if like they had maybe killed her husband and their kids or something, and then started going crazy. Like, what the heck?
Some super traumatic event that
kickstarted the psychosis. But to just all of a sudden be legitimately insane, and then all of a sudden maybe go back to the United States and you're fine? I mean, no.
Yeah.
Can that be a thing?
Well, and who knows if she was fine. She just hasn't popped up on the radar. In traffic again.
Well, probably because you can't use your legs anymore. But I mean, really?
Yeah. So Sabina served, I want to say it ended up being about 3 years because
you always get off early. Yeah.
Well, she was eligible for parole, but also just during waiting for trial, like they usually count that time, So by the time everything was said and done. So her current location is unknown. She's been out for.
But I mean, what about her kids and her husband?
I don't know.
Okay.
And I didn't try to know.
Right.
I mean, you could probably find stuff out there.
Yeah.
I was more interested in the crazy running into traffic and jumping off bridges story, or that part of it.
I can't even imagine. I mean, it's like there's more out there. There's more answers.
I just feel like I live a boring life.
I feel like
man, I never.
I don't feel like my life is boring. I dream about my life being boring.
Maybe if you ran into traffic more, then this life would be like super boring looking.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Oh dear. I'm good. Yeah. I think I do a lot of, enough stuff that is busy that I dream about being bored. And that's a good thing. If you think our life is boring compared to these guys, I'll take it. But it's not.
Yeah.
These ladies, I guess, not these guys.
Yeah. I mean, I've just never done a lot of those things.
What also makes me think is, you know how they always say, like, when you're intoxicated or whatever, your body kind of is like rubber. You never really are the one that gets hurt, right?
Sure.
So then, okay, they do these things that you should die. I mean, you really should die multiple times.
Yeah, I would think being hit by a semi-truck would do the trick.
But then you don't die. I mean, Sabina did 3 different things that should kill you. So then it almost makes you wonder, like, was there drugs involved? And what kind of drugs?
Really, really, really good ones.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's too many unanswered questions.
Yeah.
And you know me. I don't love that.
You do not. You're not a Lost fan.
No. Well, I mean, I like Lost. I liked Lost until the end.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, I'm lost.
I think that's the point.
I know. I just.
You're part of the show. You're lost. They're lost.
Yeah,
Everyone's lost.
I know. I'm just
Smoke monster, lost.
lost. Yeah. Anyway, well, I kind of feel like I need more closure.
It's a doozy.
Yeah.
Weird stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should go look it up. Go watch the videos.
Okay. So Sabina and Ursula, what
Eriksson.
was Eriksson?
Mm-hmm. Spelled Swedish style. I don't think there's a C in it.
With just the K?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's a lot of interesting stuff out there.
Show.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Talking about strangeness.
I know. Well,
That one's strange, right?
That one is super strange for sure.
So, awesome. Well, everybody, I think, that's enough for me for one night.
Too much strange.
Too much strange. I need to go be less strange now. So, everyone have a wonderful weekend. It's not the weekend, though. It's Monday. So, have a wonderful week when you hear this, whatever day it is.
Holiday time does that to us, right?
Yeah.
Like, we kind of get so out of sorts.
I only slept for 3 hours 2 nights ago.
Yeah,
3
so
nights
you're
ago
sort of
now.
out of it.
And I'm just getting old enough now where
That kills you.
it kills me for a week. Yeah, I just can't.
Yeah, it's crazy. It does, like, and late nights and early mornings and not great sleeps and stuff. So it piles down on you.
Yeah, I'm growing my hair out, and I'm shocked how much gray there is. When it's short, I don't see it.
There's like 10 grays.
But it's been 0 my whole life.
Okay, well, 10.
Man.
Oh,
Alrighty,
man.
everybody. Have a wonderful week. We'll be back next week to talk about probably something strange.
Probably.
That's my goal, at least.
I hope so.
All right, everyone. Have a wonderful week. We are out.
Bye.